G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. I do hope you enjoyed today's episode. Now sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the Barbie, and let's get right into it. Posted by user MouseXE, titled, I, female 20, have no idea how to handle my fiancé's, male 21, best friend, male 23, kissing me. What can I do? I am engaged to the most wonderful man, who I'll call Scott. Not his real name. This might be a long one, so bear with me please. Yesterday, Scott's best friend and chosen brother Jackson kissed me on the lips. For a brief moment, I didn't react. I just sat there and let him before I pushed him off of me. Mind you, I'm 4'9" and only 95 pounds. He's nearly 6'3" and weighs 250 pounds, so pushing him off wasn't easy. Right after pushing him off, he got back on top, grabbing my chest and my throat while kissing me again. I was effing terrified, but he finally got off once I started crying. He is also the only person other than my fiancé who knows that I'm an assault victim. Jackson explained that he got the go-ahead from his wife and my fiancé, but begged me not to tell anyone as he was afraid that his wife, female 18, would leave him, and he would lose a best friend. I don't want anyone to lose each other, as recently Scott has lost his bio dad, uncle and aunt, as well as our friend group. I don't think he can mentally handle losing Jackson. Jackson swears it'll never happen again and that he is beyond sorry, but that I simply can't tell anyone. I used to consider Jackson my brother as well, but I have no idea how to handle this. I want to tell Scott, I want to tell him so maybe he can talk to him privately, but Jackson says if anyone finds out, he won't be around for Scott anymore. I'm so conflicted on how to handle this. I know it's the morally right thing to tell Scott, but what if that does more damage than good? In the comments, Shooting Star Airplane says, this man assaulted you. You pushed him off, which is a very clear no. He then got on top of you and grabbed at your chest and throat. This time he stopped because you cried, but next time he may not. He should lose his wife. He should lose his friend. He should never be near you again. These are the consequences of his own actions. He deserves far worse. Tell your fiancé, not because you're telling on Jackson, but because you deserve to have someone to be there for you while you go through this. I am so sorry this happened to you. And please call the police and report this. Plain and simple, this is sexual assault. He tried to choke you and grabbed your breast. He doesn't want you to say anything because he doesn't want anyone else to know. Check for any bruises and take photos for evidence. Tell your boyfriend and his girlfriend that guy is a predator and everyone you know should be told what he tried to do. He needs to be stopped now before he has a chance to really hurt someone. I would not be surprised if you find out there are others that he has done this to. NYC Hockey 14 says, you need to tell everyone involved. He is a predator and took advantage of you. No, his wife didn't approve. No, Scott didn't approve either. And even if, a big effing if, they did, you did not. You did not consent to anything and were assaulted. North Investigator 395 says, get rid of this man immediately. You need to get over your fears and expose him. He should not be around anyone close to you and definitely doesn't deserve a wife, an 18-year-old wife at that. From this one encounter alone, he seems like a predator, immature, lacks self-control, and manipulative. You need to do something about this ASAP. Dexter says, he is lying about getting consent from anyone about this. Tell everyone involved what this creep did. His next step will be to deny that this happened at all. Jackson is the one at fault here, not you. It is not your responsibility to carry this horrible burden to preserve relationships for this scumbag. Scott should not want to be friends with Jackson after he hears this. If he does, then I'd plead with you not to marry this man. It's funny how he thinks that his wife and friend are who we need to give him permission rather than the OP. Go scorched earth on this effer. And just let me echo the sentiment of everyone else here, OP. Absolutely, he did not get your consent to do what he did. That is assault. What kind of justification is that? How does anyone rationalize that, oh, I asked your boyfriend for permission and my wife for permission, therefore I can do whatever I want to you? Also, the fact that he knows that you're a victim of this already just makes it even worse. He knows that you're vulnerable and that this will trigger you, and that this will make things worse. This kind of scum deserves to be in jail for actions like this. There's nothing to say besides that. Lock him up and throw away the key. Update. I posted this after a very unsettling situation happened, and a few people asked for an update, and I wanted to clarify some things. Clarity first. 1. I don't think that many people saw my comment, but I am almost entirely mute. I communicate through ASL and written text. 2. Yes, this is military. A few people pointed out that it seems like a military-related situation, and it is. Both my fiancé and Jackson are in the army. 3. I am aware that we are young. I know it's not the smartest idea to be making such large commitments at a young age, but I know I love Scott. As for Jackson and his wife, there is no excusing that age gap. But they grew up together, started dating when she was around 16, married 3 months after she turned 18. As for the update, I told Scott and Jackson's wife. I'm not sure how she handled it, because both Scott and I were blocked after telling her. Scott did drop Jackson and is incredibly angry as he never agreed to it. We took photos of the bruising around my neck, but did report this, not only to his higher-ups, but also local police, as I don't live on base. Scott has been nothing but supportive of me, and he let me have my time to cry and vent. If no one here has seen an ASL user venting, it does look like someone translating Rap God into ASL. I wanted to thank everyone for the support and tough love and brutal honesty. I admit I was downplaying what happened in my head, as I couldn't convince myself it was actually assault. If you're reading this and in the same situation that I was in, tell someone, please. You would be surprised by how many people actually do love you and support you and want you to heal. In the comments, Nalium says, I'm proud of you for speaking out, smiley face. Florida Eng says, you should be very proud of yourself and your husband. We all know this was tough, but realize by doing this, you are accomplishing many things. You are showing yourself and others that you value yourself and believe you deserve to be treated well and you will not accept any mistreatment. You know your husband also values you and will work to protect you. Realize by reporting this, you definitely saved yourself from future attacks by this predator and probably saved other women from being attacked by this predator in the future. If he had been able to do this with no consequences to himself, he would have kept doing it. You know now that you were stronger than you thought you were. All of us that replied to your original post are proud of you. You were subjected to a horrible event, and you fought back and showed tremendous courage to tell your husband and the police what happened. I'm proud of you, OP. Please get medical attention for your injuries. A lot of people don't know that you can die after being strangled days later because the damage is not obvious and you can have internal injuries. Please get checked out. Plus, it'll be good for evidentiary purposes if she ever needs them. Have them document everything, including any mental health treatment. Many doctors have on-site mental health professionals who can do brief on-site crisis counseling. It is way too disturbing that people were like, sounds like the military, and they were actually correct. When behaviors are that common, you really have to rethink some shit. Much Prefer Pets says, I literally do not know a single woman who was in the military who was not sexually assaulted at least once. And they are pretty much all young kids with no real experience in life who get married as fast as possible and start popping out babies because all they can see is how much more money they get for quarters instead of living in the barracks. It's kinda like if someone starts talking about their abusive, controlling boyfriend they're terrified to try to escape from, and it comes out that the guy is a cop. Everyone is instantly like, oh yeah, that explains everything. Wow, what a horrifying way to end this story. I don't feel any better after hearing that. I'm sorry if you came here to feel better, guys, but that was really depressing, and I am very much glad that OP's partner took her side and didn't take his side here. I know it's silly to say that, but it does happen. I hope the predator has the day and the life that he deserves. I do hope that this is followed up on and his life is taken apart as it is now so that he learns his lesson for what he's done. I wish they weren't blocked, and I really wish we could know the outcome for that predator in this instance. I do hope that his wife leaves him, and I hope he gets kicked to the streets, but, karma isn't always that swift, unfortunately. Our next post is by user CheatersSuck12, titled, I saw my husband and sister naked in my kitchen. I can't move. If I move, it becomes real, and I have to accept what I saw and think of what's next. I came home from work early and saw my sister's car, thinking maybe she was dropping off some food from her job, but no. I walk in and see my husband and sister naked in my kitchen, the kitchen that I paid for. As soon as I registered what I saw, I got into my car and left. I kept driving, just driving until I found the hotel that I'm at now. I don't want to believe it. I don't know what to do. My sister, my only family and my best friend, the one who's supposed to be there for me and support me. My husband, my person, my other half, the one who's supposed to love and respect me. The two most important people in my life have ruined everything. I've blocked them both on my phone. I don't want to hear any of the bullshit excuses they'll come up with. I don't want to confront this. I want to go back to this morning when everything was fine. In the comments, XMSit says, unblock them and just let their calls go to voicemail. Turn the ringer off for each of them in your contacts. That way you can get recorded proof of their apologies and excuses via voicemail. You may need that type of proof for your divorce. This is good advice. I hope OP sees this. I wouldn't have thought of that. Goodness, my heart breaks for the OP. This is devastating. Sammy G21 says, just from a banking standpoint, I work at a bank, file legal documents intending to separate, open an individual bank account, start your paychecks going there after you've filed your separation papers. I don't know what state you're in, whether it's a community proper state or not, but keep everything as clear-cut as possible so there won't be issues down the road. Deal with them with your head held as high as you can, don't take their shit, and cry when no one is watching. In front of them, be the badass that you are. They are the lowest of the low and they will prey on your perceived weaknesses. Best of luck, OP. You need to be in every cheating sub. This is excellent advice and something I don't think a lot of people know about. Update. Sorry for not replying to comments and not updating. Things have been hectic. I didn't think that I needed to explicitly say this, but by naked, I meant that they were butt naked and screwing in the kitchen. I admit mentioning that I paid for the kitchen was odd and kind of funny, but anyone that knows me knows that my kitchen is my pride and joy. So yes, when I saw my sister and husband screwing in my kitchen, it stuck with me. And yes, they did see me. When I got to the hotel, I cried for a few hours, and then I just wanted to tell someone. Anyone. The two people I would talk to when something happened in my life were the two that I needed to talk about, and it was 11-something in the evening, so I wasn't going to disrupt my friends' evenings and burden them. So instead, I came to Reddit thinking that not many would see it. The response I received was overwhelming. I want to say thank you to everyone that sent kind words and advice. Thank you so much for all the virtual hugs. I only commented once. That is because I had so much to think about and do. I appreciate all the love and support. There was so much amazing advice in the comments. Although a lot of it was American-based, I still appreciate it, but one thing I did see was a lot to unblock them and keep the texts and calls as evidence, so I did do that. After posting and another good cry, I knew that I had to get my shit together. I didn't have my sister or any family to help, so I had to do it myself. I started researching what my next steps were. In the morning, my friend called me saying that my sister contacted her wondering if I had been in contact with her. I told her what happened, and she kindly offered her spare room and her day off work to help me sort stuff out. I called in sick at my job, and my friend helped me get things done. I got in contact with my friend who works at a bank, and she helped me start sorting my financials. My friend also found me a lawyer to consult with. After my phone consultation with the lawyer, I was so overwhelmed. I now know why so many women don't divorce their cheating husbands. It is such a lengthy, expensive, and emotionally draining process. I, fortunately, make a stable income and can support myself, and we, fortunately, don't have kids. I have to remember that things aren't going to happen in one day. It will all take time. As for the house, unfortunately, his parents did buy it for us, and to be honest, after what I saw, I don't want it. I will try to get reimbursed for my beloved kitchen, otherwise, it can burn for all I care. This has been super draining, but I knew I had to talk to them. I already knew that there was no coming back for my husband, and when I checked his messages, they were exactly what I thought they would say. "I'm sorry, it's not what it looks like. We didn't mean for it to happen. Please come home. I love you, blah, blah, blah." Just absolute bullshit. A small part of me thought that maybe I could find it in me to forgive my sister, as we only have each other, but after I opened her messages, all hope was lost. She used the same excuses we heard our father use when he cheated on our mother and beat us. She said the same things our mother would say when she would excuse our dad's behavior and also beat us. I spoke to her this morning and asked her to tell me straight up who, what, where, when, and why. She told me that back in July when I went on a girls' trip, she was at our house and joked to my husband that I would cheat on him on the girls' trip because that's what always happens. He said nah, and they joked about it, but she said that he could get even with me, and they ended up doing it once. One time led to 2, to 3, then to whenever they could do it. There was never any evidence or signs or anything that I was going to, or even thinking of cheating. I told her that we were done, and there is nothing that she could do to bring us back together. I later received a call from an unknown number. It was my mother, who I haven't spoken to in 7 years. Turns out my sister has been in contact with her and told her what had happened, and my piece of crap mother, the same woman who beat me for breathing wrong, had the audacity to say that this is what I get for taking her daughters away from her. It hurts so much. I know things are going to get messier, and this is going to be a long few years. I've now lost all of my blood relations. I need to get all my shit and find a new place. I want to show them that I can and I will thrive without them. Again, thank you all from the bottom of my heart for all the love and advice. All the people in the comments that could relate to me, I'm so sorry. In the comments, Deleted says, "I'm very proud of you for taking charge and for standing up for yourself. I know it's very hard, but you got this. You will get through this." OP replies, "Thank you for your kind words. It's pretty hard losing the only family I had, but I'm trying so hard to stay optimistic. Betrayal like this is effing devastating. It will be long and hard and draining, but I will make it." Your sister basically instigated the whole thing, and you would best believe this was very intentional on her part. She waited until you were gone, and then went round to your husband and told him that you would cheat on him, and he was stupid enough to go along with it. I'm not condoning your husband at all. He is definitely trash, but your sister is definitely the worst here. You sound like you have great friends around you, and I hope that you can get in for some therapy as well, as this level of betrayal is huge and devastating. Make sure you tell everyone exactly what happened, and shame the both of them. No one will think worse of you. They will see them for the disgusting assholes they both are. And OP replies, "Thank you for your comment. It's a hard pill to swallow, but yes, she did instigate the whole thing. Why? I don't know, and my ex-husband is very stupid and pathetic to go along with it." Sorry, but your husband didn't take much convincing, did he? He's trash. I have never and will never understand why people cheat. Best of luck, and I'm proud of you. Exactly. Everyone's saying that her sister is worse, as if her ex-husband isn't the one who broke their vows. He is just as bad as the sister. OP trusted them both, and they both backstabbed her. And now, onto the final update. I actually forgot about this account until recently, and when I logged back in, I saw so many people still commenting, messaging me, and checking up on me. To those people, thank you for your kindness. Since so many still ask for an update, and I've already shared such a big part of my life, I may as well give a small update. Back in October, my life was in chaos, but I was determined to soldier through it and show them that I can make it without them and succeed. I had to meet with my ex to talk about the house, and he kinda gave up, and we decided to sell the house. I was reimbursed for my beloved kitchen. At first, my sister would show up at my job and my friend's house, but once I told her that I would get the police involved, she stopped. I haven't seen her since February. I did hear from my pathetic excuse of a mother again, but that was also shut down, and I've not heard from her since the end of last year. I'm from New Zealand, so my ex and I have to be living separately for 2 years before we can divorce. Although I want nothing to do with him, I'm not too fussed. 1 year is almost done. I started therapy, which has been healing. I wish I had gone earlier. I have moved into my apartment and I was promoted at work. I have also gone on 2 girl trips and had some extra fun these times as I was a single woman. And I've also just started seeing someone. He has been very kind. Thank you all again for your kindness. I hope this is the update that you were waiting for. In the comments, Additional Way 1346 says, I'm glad you updated. You are happier, never introduced the man to the family, wouldn't put it past your sister to repeat her behavior. Cutting the toxic people in your life brings so much mental freedom. Living a happy single life after divorce is a kindness to yourself. Best update so far. Quote, it's not what it looks like. This line is hilarious to me. They were caught naked and having sex. What else could it possibly be? Did the husband trip, accidentally rip off all their clothes, land with his penis in her vagina, and the thrusting was him just trying to get up? Jasper Jamboree says, a former colleague was going through a nasty divorce after finding her husband cheating on her like OP. She was religious, and I wasn't super close with her, but she needed to vent to someone, and most of her friends were mutual friends with her ex through the church and would gossip about her every chance they got since divorce was such a huge controversy in their religion. She wanted to vent to me because I was the only other woman in the department. She told me in confidence that her ex gave her that BS excuse of, it's not what it looks like, and she asked back, then what is it supposed to look like? He had the audacity to say that he was possessed by demons and tempted by the devil to cheat on her. So his actions weren't his own, and he should be forgiven because it's not his fault that he's being tested by God. I tried really hard to sympathize with her, but I tried even harder not to lose it in front of her. Steak Not Cake says, I'm glad she's taken out the trash. Seems like her life is a lot better and happier without all these toxic people in it. Sufficient Way 3663 says, 2 frickin' years? That is absolutely absurd. I cannot fathom having to reach a point of divorcing my spouse and then having to wait an additional 2 years to finally be free. Especially since a lot of people won't start dating someone until everything is final, be it either because of feeling like it's still cheating and unfaithful, or because the other person doesn't want to risk their new partner going back to their spouse. Sounds like a law that needs to be updated so much. And yeah, that is a really weird law, isn't it? Why? Like, what's the justification for having to stay with someone for 2 years before you're allowed to divorce them? New Zealand, you're weird. But how scary is it that OP might never have found out that these two were cheating? Because at some point it could have just fizzled out and they could have stopped seeing each other and all would have gone back to normal. It kind of does make you wonder how common something like this is, or I would hope uncommon something like that is out in the world. Also doubly insane knowing how bad of an influence the mother is, and yet the sister, after doing wrong, sets the hounds on OP by unleashing the mother, giving OP's number to the mother and just being like, hey, go harass her some more. I did wrong, and I'm going to give you a biased story, and now you need to just go lash her some more because that's such a cool thing to do. I feel absolutely terribly for OP for everything that has happened here, but you know, maybe a blessing in disguise. She's getting rid of a lot of trash in her life, setting new hard boundaries, and, you know, living better, I hope, than everyone else here. It seems to be that way. So yeah, after all that, I'm very happy for you, OP, and I do hope that your life continues to be filled with blessings every day. That's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.